all. That's done. And I'll share my PowerPoint. And voila, that's French, isn't it? We're in business. I should say, aquí está. So, how is everybody? Good? We're doing we're doing a bit of chat today, so we'll need maybe to the format of the lesson means it's a bit more interactional, I guess. So we might keep you off mute, but only join in if you're comfortable. We don't want to. Nobody must feel uncomfortable or anything like that. So I had it was bank holiday Monday this week. Lousy day, wasn't it? Yesterday. It's not much better today. Not much better today. I was talking to. I talked to all kinds of Spaniards. I talked to as many Spaniards as I can on the internet. It's good for my Spanish, and I was telling one that it was a bank holiday. They don't call it bank holiday in Spain or Latin America. They call it un feriado, which I guess is the same as feria is fair. So I guess it's something like that. And she'd heard of bank holidays, but she hadn't got a clue where it came from. And I was trying in my awful Spanish to explain to her that nobody used to get holidays, and then this was when banks closed for the day, and this is how the term came about. And I think that's right. I might be complete rubbish, but I was trying to explain this to her, and I don't think it was sort of what on earth's going on. But it does. There are different names for bank holidays in Spanish. So we have Christmas, of course, is Navidad. Christmas Eve is Noche Bueno. Boxing Day, they wouldn't recognize Boxing Day. It's El Dia de San Esteban. So St. Stephen's, I think we call it St. Stephen's Day here, don't we, as well? We have Good Friday is Viernes Santo. Easter is Pascua. Lunes Pascua would be Easter Monday. May Day, of course, is Dia Internacional de los Trabajadores, International Workers' Day. I have no idea what Whitsuntide is. I don't think that's a holiday in Latin America. So we share some of the same holidays, but they have quite different names. So we'll get on. ¿Qué tenemos esta semana? Empecemos con la tarea de la semana pasada. We have a question from last week about the use of the article, the indefinite article. Is it sapullo or un sapullo? We're then going to do some eating out. We've got a little bit about the word here in Spanish. Annoyingly, there's two of them. And then just a little bit of revision, just to keep your brains going. I know we teach something way back in October, and everybody does it, and we all think, oh, that's it, sorted. But then we forget it. We've not used it for a while, and I'm hoping to drag some knowledge from the depths of your brains if I can. So we'll do that. And let's start with the homework from last week. So I was explaining that lots of words in Spanish are the same in English, or vice versa. It's just a different ending. So English words ending in ENT become ente, just add an E on the end. So urgent becomes urgente. We do have to pronounce them differently, unfortunately. We can't just say urgenti. Urgente. Words ending in ANT become ante, again, just add an E. So constant becomes constante. Words ending in TION become CION with a stress on the O. So we have to stress the end of the word. So attention becomes atención. ARY words become ario. So necessary, necesario. ICAL become eco. Comical becomes comico. ENCE becomes encia. So we have difference becomes diferencia. And ANCE becomes ansia. So importance becomes importancia. It's surprising how many words have those endings, and so it's a really useful thing to get in your head. It takes a bit of familiarity. So exercises like this are pretty useful. The only way really to get it into your head. So useful. Unfortunately, it's not all good news. There are some exceptions, and I've included a few in here just to underline, just to annoy you, because annoying you is one way to make it stick in the brain. I think that's the plan anyway. So we'll start with last week's homework, and we're going to ask some people to go through these and tell us what they are. And I'm going to go down to the bottom of my little gallery, and we'll start at the bottom. And Caroline Ingram has sneaked down to the bottom. It's hiding away there. That's fine. Can you do these ones, Caroline?
Yeah, possibly secretario.
Secretario, see.
Well, paymento, not pago. Is it pago?
El pago, yeah, it's one of those that doesn't work. So yeah, pago.
And logico.
Yeah, because the G is followed by an I, it's a soft G, so it's lógico.
Oh, lógico.
Lógico. And the stress is on the O, so lógico. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Yeah.
Restaurante.
Yeah, restaurante. Good.
Influencia.
Sí.
Gigante.
Muy bien.
Primario.
Sí.
Is this another one?
Oh yes, you got two tricky ones in your, unfortunately.
I had to look this one up. This is latente.
Latente. Sí. You can also say inactivo, but latente is fine. And
we also got abitargo as well. Noticed.
For dormant.
For dormant, yeah.
Yeah.
We looked up well. We got two.
Yeah. What was it, Carl?
It was ABETARGADO.
All right. Okay. I'll have to look that one up. And
look up dormant. Add it to
my vocab. So yeah, I mean, latent does mean sort of dormant, doesn't it, in English as well? So latente is probably an easier one to remember. Good, well done, Caroline. Next set, Leslie Adolson. How do you feel about these?
Yeah, I'll have a go. I'm sorry I was late. and I also have to leave early because I have an appointment.
That's quite all right. Yeah.
Just leave. Okay.
Yeah. Coming late to this class is you can do it unnoticed because you don't have to open the door and shove past people in the class like we used to. So it's a lot easier. Okay, condition.
I've got condition.
Sí, muy bien.
Communication, but it's only got one M.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. You don't get that many double letters in Spanish except for ere, when they really want to roll the R, which I'm very bad at. So yeah, you will find a lot of these where we've got double letters in English. You just have a single letter in Spanish.
And you've got primaria again.
Primario, sí.
Yeah. And then translation, I had to look that one up.
Yeah.
And found that it was traducción.
Traducción, sí.
And that has got two C's.
It does, yes. Having said you don't get many double letters in Spanish, it bites me back and immediately proves me wrong. There you go.
Diferencia.
Sí, diferencia.
Political.
Muy bien.
Importancia.
Sí.
And necesario.
Necesario. Yeah, excellent. And so those double letters go to single letters there, as you were saying, just one S, necesario. But there are two C's in traducción. So we, and bizarrely, because we've got two C's, we get a hard C and a soft C, traducción. That's clearly why they've got the two C's there. Good. Adrian, you're next in my my firing line.
La presencia.
Sí, muy bien.
Filosófico.
Sí.
La performancia.
Performance is one of those that doesn't work. There's a Spanish word, actuación, which is the performance. Yeah, so completely different, that one. Yeah.
Vocabulario.
Sí, muy bien.
Posición.
Sí.
Substancia.
Sí.
Diferente.
Sí, muy bien.
Esencia.
Good, well done, Adrian. Yeah. So a few slight changes there. Philosophical gets the FA rather than the PH. So philosophico.
The performance was one where you had, depending on what the meaning of the performance was. I mean, we went for actuación, but there were actually three other words which all had different meanings of performance. Okay. So depending on whether you were performing, you know, like on stage, or it was a performance, or, you know, so when we take the different meanings of performance, they had different words we noticed.
Okay, so what other words did you get,
Carl?
I
didn't write them all down.
Oh, right, okay.
Whether Giselle did. Giselle, did you write them down?
No, she didn't. No, very wise. Okay, well, a performance, actuación is good, and you might need that if you want to ask a qué hora es la actuación. What time does the performance start? You might need that. I think the others are substance. It doesn't become substancia; it becomes sustancia. So that's a slight weird one too, but you'd probably be understood if you said substancia. I would have thought. Okay, so is this the last lot? This this is the last lot. So we've got Giselle down at the bottom now. It's like musical chairs. I don't know. I could do with some way in Zoom to be able to fix you all so you're sitting in the same position. It's you all move around.
It's called a pen and paper, Eric. You have to write the names down.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Mutants.
Mutante,
Mutante, muy bien.
asistencia,
Sí,
contrario,
muy bien.
estación,
Sí, that's one that doesn't work, yeah.
circunstancia,
Circunstancia, sí.
Constante,
Sí, muy bien.
económico,
Mm-hmm.
and supplemental.
Muy bien. Very good, very good.
Circumstance, Eric, when we looked, it didn't change. It seemed, unless our translation was wrong, but it came up with circumstance spelled the same way. Is that not right?
With
It
an
wasn't
MA.
circumstancia, it was actually circumstance.
Circunstancia. All right.
And we checked it twice, and I don't know anyone else found that, or was it just, or did our thing just play up at the time when we're doing it?
Oh no! What did anybody else get that? Circumstance, did you say?
Yeah, well, it was just, well, apart from that, it differently. It seemed to be spelled the same way. We checked it a couple of times.
Okay.
But and as I say, it could just be our translation thing was playing up. I don't know.
You've not got the French dictionary instead of the Spanish.
No, we were using Google.
Oh, well, if you just use a pencil and paper dictionary, it changes the M to an N.
Certainly the one I did was an N, and that was Google.
Yeah. That's an odd one. I don't know whether there's a slight different dialect you've got there, or
I was wondering whether there's regional differences, or
it could be. It could be. Maybe if you went back and checked the settings, it would give you a different version. Or
I mean, all the others came up right, and that was one of the few. So we just took it on.
Okay. So, well, that's an odd one, but circunstancia.
And constant, we got constante, but also invariable,
All right. Yeah.
Again, that's one where you got a slightly different meaning of constant.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you this really as a bit of a shortcut maybe, or an easier way to expand your vocabulary a little.
Absolutely.
Vocabulary a little. Just because you know the English words, if you know the endings change, you've immediately got a Spanish word. And I wouldn't worry too much about those exceptions. It's a really useful set of endings to know, because it will open up a lot of words to you that you just don't have to learn because you already know them in English. So that's good. Don't worry about the exceptions. And
even if it's wrong, it sounds like you're speaking Spanish to anybody else that doesn't know.
It does. That's true. Yes, that's true. Okay, so we got you got me with a curly ball question last week that I didn't know the answer to, and rather than having a wild guess, I thought it would be best to ask a proper Spaniard or a proper Spanish speaker. So I have a Spanish lesson on a Saturday to try and improve my spoken Spanish. And I asked my teacher, Sophia, who is Ecuadorian but now lives in Cancun in Mexico, about this. And she said, rather unhelpfully, both are fine. I said, oh no, come on, there must be some rules. Yes, Adrian.
Just to pick a few nits, I think both are wrong, because is it not sar pulido?
Is it sar pulido? For rash, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I think the first L should be an R.
Yeah, sorry, my mistake. Sar pulido. So we'll correct that. got it wrong everywhere, actually. Not just in the PowerPoint. What did I say last week? Did I say Sapugido last week? It's got the wrong word completely. Okay, so she said, well, she didn't say that was wrong. But maybe it means something completely different. So she said, so you can say tengo tos or tengo una tos. It doesn't matter. She said, what we do is we use it for emphasis. So if you had a cough, you could simply say tengo tos. But if you wanted to say I've got a bad cough, you'd say una tos fuerte. So you'd use the indefinite article in there. And you can also use the article when you want to be specific about where something is. So if you've got a rash, tengo sarpullido. But if you've got a rash, you want to say it's on your arm, tengo un sarpullido en el brazo. That's where you'd use the article. If you want to be specific, or if you want to emphasize it. Otherwise, probably a Mexican Spaniard wouldn't bother using it, and the Mexicans do quite a few things that other countries don't do. But there we go.
Eric,
that's as good as I can get. Yes, Caroline.
how are you pronouncing the double L?
Sarpullido. But if you're in certain bits of Spain, sarpullido.
Right, that's getting confused because is it pollo, chicken? Is it? Or am I getting the wrong one? Pollo
is chicken. Pollo is fine as well.
But in Spain, it would be the Y. Would it be Y?
In parts of Spain, yeah, but if you get down into the Balearics or southern Spain, you'd get the J. It's surprising how many parts of the Spanish-speaking world use the J sound. So throughout Latin America, throughout southern Spain, throughout the Balearics. I don't know about the Canaries. I suspect the Canaries were populated by people from southern Spain, so probably there too. It's surprisingly widespread. I started learning Castellano with John Douglas, and he's in Castellano. It's Castellano. It's a y sound. But in others, I'm gradually dropping into the J. So just train your ear to recognise both. And when you're in Spain, if you're in part of the Spain that's a Y, then adopt that. And if you're not, adopt the J. They wouldn't understand you in some parts of Latin America if you said a Y. They just expect it. So a llama is a llama, and it's a big difference, isn't it? Me llamo, if you're introducing yourself, rather than me llamo, it's quite a different sound. It's a bit annoying. You think the Spanish should get their act together, but it's compared to the English, we can't decide whether it's a crumpet or a pikelet, or whether it's a roll, a barm cake, a bap, a bread cake, or whatever. It's Spanish is remarkably uniform. This is just one of those little things in there.
Going to the Canaries, we know two people who from Estria in mainland Spain, and they believe, and they are actually Spanish. Yeah. They actually believe that the Canarian Islands speak one of the sloppiest Spanish around.
Right.
They've really developed. It's really developed into a very.
It's gone off piste completely.
Yes. And and I suspect, and they like talking to each other because they're pure Spanish, rather necessarily to a local who probably is a bit more laid back.
It's like the Southerners going up north. It's a different cultural experience. Yeah. There are huge difference. Argentinian Spanish is way different. My daughter-in-law says they speak a different language in Argentina. She could just about understand them, and she's Latin American. And in Mexico, they have all kinds of different words, particularly when it comes to colloquial uses. The word to catch, coger, in Mexico means something completely different. It means something quite rude. So you do have to be careful. But anyway, the pronunciation is it's just something you really need to listen to what the locals are up to, and then go with that. That's my best advice. Okay, so eating out. Let's try and get our brains working with some phrases. Can we remember what these phrases are? Caroline Gray, how are you feeling? Are you hungry?
Okay, I'm hungry. Tango. I can't remember what hungry is.
Hambre. Yeah. So they don't say estoy. They don't say estoy. I am. They say tengo. I have hunger. Tengo hambre. How about I'm not hungry?
No tengo hambre.
See? I want something to drink.
Tengo. Quiero.
So they'd say quiero beber algo. I want to drink something, not so. Quiero beber algo. I want something to eat.
Tengo comer algo.
See, but quiero. Oh, if you say tango, it's I have something to eat. Yeah. And when can we eat?
Cuando. Is it cuando? When?
Cuando is when. Yeah, perfect.
Cuando, comer posible.
The verb to eat is comer.
Yeah.
I eat is como. You eat, comes. He, she eats, come. We eat is, what's that?
Comemos.
Comemos, sí. So, cuando comemos? Or when can we eat? We could say cuando. We could use can to be able is poder. So that's podemos. Cuando podemos comer? Cuando comemos? When we eat. Yeah. Good. Here's a tough one. I'm very hungry and thirsty. Caroline, you're on a bit of a roll here, so what would you make with this?
Tengo mucho hambre y thirsty.
Thirsty. What's thirsty?
Not sure.
It's said. I have thirst. Tengo sed. Yeah. Tengo mucha hambre y sed.
I tell you one thing, you can tell that I've not been around these last few weeks.
It's disappeared that quickly. Oh,
it has. It doesn't take long.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll all be able to go on holiday to Spain or the Canaries or the Balearics this year, and we'll be able to practice our Spanish. Although it's darned hard to find somebody who'll speak Spanish to you in Spain. They all want to show off their excellent English.
Or they come from Manchester.
Yeah, that they come from. Yeah. I've found a few from England working out there. So we're going to go to eat in a restaurant. We're going to eat out. what verbs are we going to use? I've written some down here. Comer is a regular verb, a regular ER verb, as is beber. Gustar, we've done quite a bit of work with gustar, haven't we? So we know that we'd say me gusta or me gustan. If you like something, you would like something, in plural, you'd say me gustan. If you'd like something, just one thing, me gustan. Tener, that's a fairly to have. That is quite a familiar verb to us now. Do we all know how? Would everybody be confident in conjugating tener in the present tense? Would you? Just have a think. I'm not going to put anybody on the spot, but just have a think and run it through your head. And if you get stuck at tienes, then you perhaps need to have a brush up of that. You do lose them if you don't use them. So, you know, it takes a while to stick. Desear, to wish, to wish for something. Cenar, to dine. Querer, to want. And again, querer is a verb. We use that a lot. So you should be able now to run through that, conjugate that in the present tense very confidently. Tomar and servir, to serve. Did anybody think of any more that would be useful? Anybody?
Would like.
Sorry, what was this? What was that? Carl, you said one.
Would like, as into Caseria.
Well, quisiera is the.
If you want to be polite about, I would like to have.
Yeah, that's a form of querer, and you could also say me gustaría. It would please me. Again, we've gone into the conditional tense there, gustaría. So yeah, they're variations on those verbs. Somebody else had one.
Traer, I said. To bring.
To bring, yeah?
Yeah.
Traer, yeah, good one, yeah.
Pagar, to pay.
Pagar, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah. Good, well done. Let's look. So, I mean, the Spanish have a word for every meal considerable. That you might, every meal that you might take, they have a special word for it. And most of the nouns are derived from verbs. So desayuno is breakfast, but there's a verb desayunar, which means to eat breakfast. In English, we can create a verb out of any noun, can't we? So we can say in English, I'm going to breakfast on bacon and eggs, or I breakfasted on porridge and toast. So we could do that, but desayunar, to eat breakfast in Spanish, I think it's a regular AR verb. Desayuno, desayunamos. Yeah, we can use it, and the same with lunch. Lunch is almuerzo, and it's from the verb is almorzar. So you can lunch. It's a stem changing verb. So almuerzo is I eat lunch or I lunch. La cena. They're not very common. I've never heard anybody say desayuno. Maybe desayuno, but not. I've not heard almorzar conjugated or merendar conjugated. But you do hear cenar. The noun for dinner is cena, and the verb is cenar, and you will hear this used as in to dine we dine, cenamos. And a snack is la merienda. It's I think it tends to be a morning snack, but I don't think there's a rule about it. And merendar is to eat a snack. Is it a morning snack? Has anybody got a?
No, it's usually afternoon, according to our relatives. It's usually what we class as like a bit of an early tea. Afternoon, you know, like tea. A sort of a snack there.
Yeah.
About 4 or 5 o'clock, something like that.
I heartily approve of that. That's good. I've just finished reading a book called Love and War in the Apennines by Eric Newby, who's a really nice travel writer. He wrote about his wartime experiences in Italy when he was a prisoner of war on the run and living with the Italians. And he lived on this farm for a while, working for his upkeep. And they had breakfast, and then they had merienda. So it's obviously the same word in Italian. So think of it as an afternoon snack. Desayunatario, I saw for brunch is late breakfast, really. Which I guess what brunch is. And if you just want to grab a sandwich, bocadillo or empanado is a sandwich. Now, I'm not sure. I think one tends to be a roll, and one tends to be a sort of more of a 2 slices of bread. But I've also seen un sandwich in Spanish too. So they obviously respect the Earl of Sandwich as much as we do.
Just a quick one. What was the name of that book again?
Love and War in the Apennines.
Thank you very much. It was the last bit I didn't get.
Yeah, Eric Newby. He's dead now, of course, but he's a really good travel writer. He wrote Short Walk in the Hindu Kush is one of his other well-known books. So we have un tentempié, which is a snack. Comida rápida is fast food. Comida típica is a local food or local dish. Comida vegetarian is fairly obvious, isn't it?
Couldn't that be vegetariana?
Vegetariana. I could be wrong, Adrian. I'll have to check. She's been hard on me today. I'm going to have to brush my act up, aren't I? Let me find my notes. I'll check that. I'm pretty sure I just copied that out of our textbook.
Google Translate has got an O on it.
Vegetariano.
Ariana.
Ano. Okay. Well, I'll double check that. Yep. I'm sure Google's got it. Apologies for that. A takeaway, para llevar, llevar, is to carry, take away. And para aquí is to eat in for here. Okay. So let's have a look at some Spanish words for a restaurant. What would that be, Abigail?
Un restaurante.
Yeah. What about a snack bar? What would that be?
I should know because you've just said snack, but I really cannot think. But un bar de...
No, I think you're barking up the wrong bar. Cafeteria. And a coffee shop.
Is that a cafeteria as well?
It could be, yeah, or cafe. I'm not going to insult anybody's intelligence by asking what a bar is. It's un bar. I think cafe is becoming more used. It seems to be one of those international words now. It used to be just a coffee shop, I think, and cafeteria would be a cafe where they sell food, or a snack bar. But I think the two are pretty much interchangeable now. It's una cafeteria and un cafe. So just watch those two.
Eric, is a shop a tienda? Is it?
Tienda, la tienda, see? Yeah, it is.
Do the Spanish have a word for pub?
They well, bar.
That's what I thought it was, but I didn't know whether
taverna, and I've seen el pub.
Yes.
that might have been in a popular tourist resort, but I don't know. If somebody's got their Google Translate handy, just look up el pub and see if it exists there. I'm pretty sure it's in the lexicon somewhere. Yeah. So what have we got here then? Let's have a look at these. We've done these just now. We just want to check we get the gender right. So can you carry on, Abigail? The restaurant.
El restaurante.
El restaurante. Sí.
El café.
Very good. Yeah.
Or la cafeteria.
Sí, la cafeteria.
Yeah, la cafeteria.
What about
este restaurante.
Este restaurante, muy bien.
This
bar.
Este bar. Esta cafeteria.
Very good. Yeah. Now that.
Ese restaurante.
Good. Yeah.
Esa cafeteria. Ese cafe.
Yeah. Well done. That's good. It's. I never think it's a hanging offence to get the gender wrong. My daughter-in-law gets very annoyed at me and corrects me immediately, but I don't think it's a hanging offence. Not at our level of Spanish. Gosh, you know.
Eric,
there's enough to learn.
Eric,
Yes.
Google translates El Pub into the pub.
Does it? Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's in. I have seen it written up on the board, but like I say, I always thought, oh, it doesn't say El Pub Rose and Crown or anything like that. But
No, it's not that specific.
I always wondered whether it was a sort of an English, especially for the tourists. But there we go. So booking a table. Es el cumpleaños de la esposa de Eric. Va a llevarla a comer a Manuel's, el mejor restaurante de la ciudad. How would we translate that apple? How would we translate that? Es el cumpleaños.
Is Eric's wife's birthday.
Yeah.
He's going to take her to eat at Manuel's, the best restaurant in the city.
Yeah, perfect. So we're in a Spanish-speaking country, and we want to make a reservation to eat out at a restaurant. We might get a telephone number from the hotel, or pick it up on a flyer. We might be walking past and think that's nice. Let's pop in and see if we can book a table for tonight. So how would we start going about asking for a reservation, making a reservation? I think that everybody will have these necessary verbs in their vocabulary, and it's just a matter of not panicking, thinking about what you want, and asking for it. So quite a few verbs that we're very, very familiar with that we can use. So if we want to say, do you have a table, we can use the verb tener. Am I able to book a table? We can use the verb poder, puedo hacer una reservación. We can use I. Is there una mesa? Is there a table? We can obviously also use querer, to want. So I want a table. We want a table. A table is a mesa. Esta noche is tonight. What's tomorrow night? Abigail, I'll give you this one because you're doing so well, and then I'll leave you alone for a bit. What esta noche is tonight? What's tomorrow night? What's tomorrow?
La noche próxima.
Yeah, okay.
La próxima noche.
You probably get away with la próxima noche, or la próxima, or la noche que vienes. You could probably get away with the coming night. But tomorrow night. Tomorrow is, what's tomorrow? Mañana. See, and if you want to say tomorrow night, they say mañana por la noche. Tomorrow afternoon, mañana por la tarde. Tomorrow morning, mañana de la mañana is, I think that's right. So it's por la noche, mañana por la noche. Okay, so let's have a crack at. We're not going to do this role play style, but we'll just ask a couple of people if they'd like to, if they can book a table. So I'm going to go from the top downwards. So admin, aka Paul, is there at the top. How would you go about this, Paul?
I did actually write this down because I thought, okay. So it is actually a conversation. Do you want me to go through it all?
Oh yeah, okay.
And I'll try and get me does and me des right.
Yeah, okay. As long as you get a table, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's fine. Buenos días, señor. Hoy es el cumpleaños de mi esposa. ¿Tiene usted un mesa de para 4 personas? Por favor. Por favor, esta noche. Mi esposa prefiere un mesa tranquila. The waiter comes back and says, sí, señor. Tenemos un mesa para 4 a la 9. ¿Está bien? Estupendo. ¿Serves pescado y mariscos? Sí, señor. Nuestro pescado es excelente. Capturado fresco hoy. Gracias, podamos. Pagas con un tarjeta de crédito. Lo siento, señor. Solo tenemos efectivo. No problema. Nos vemos a las 9.
Well done. Yeah, perfect. A few French does in there. Despite what you promised.
I do apologise.
But yeah, and the pronunciation just needs polishing a bit, Paul. You just do it through a few times, and get your wife to smack you on the head every time.
She does.
Every time you get one wrong.
She does.
And you'll soon learn. You'll soon learn. Well done. Did everybody got that okay? That was Paul's wants a table for how many people?
4 personas.
No, I'm asking the others, see if they were paying attention. Four people. Yeah. And what time have they given him a table for?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah. And what's he going to eat?
Fish
yeah.
and rice.
Seafood and fish, and they're very proud of their fish. I didn't hear rice. Are you having rice?
No, I made that up.
You've seen the menu before.
It's an interesting combination. What how would you go about, Ian? How would you go about asking for a table? Table for 2 for 8 o'clock. How would you go about asking for that?
Tiene usted una mesa para dos.
At 8 o'clock, just say a las 8.
Las 8. Por favor.
See, yeah, good. Does everybody feel that they'd be comfortable walking into a restaurant and getting themselves a table? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's excellent. This is really something that we're going to do on holiday, isn't it? Hopefully. Anyway, perfect. So I did suggest this little conversation. Buenos dias, señor. This presumed that we were on the phone. Es este el restaurante de Manuel? Presumably they say yes. Can be a bit sharp on the phone, Spaniards. The French as well, and the Italians are even worse. Used to have to, when I was working, used to have to phone a few Italian companies, and they what do they say when they answer the phone? Pronto or something like that. Just like, go on. You know, it sounds really rude. But they're not being rude. It's just how they do it. So they might say dígame in Spanish in Spain. So hoy es el cumpleaños de mi esposa. ¿Tiene usted una mesa para dos esta noche? I'd use a formal address if we were asking for a table. Obviously, if you're on holiday, you go there regularly, you get to know the guy, and you're on first name terms, then obviously address them in the informal. The same with a waiter or waitress or barman. If you know them, you'd use informal. But if it's the first time you've gone in there, you'd use the formal.
Eric, do you have to put usted in? You couldn't just say tiene una mesa para.
No, you could, yeah. And usted gets used slightly less, I think. I do hear it. I think it's the equivalent of saying sir or madam if you're using it. So if you say tiene, it's obvious to them that you're using a formal address. But if you added usted, it's the equivalent to saying, madam, do you have a table for 2? So it's just making it a little bit more formal.
Depends on the type of place you go into.
Yeah, and it's not quite that. I probably wouldn't use it myself, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if they usteded me when they responded, because you'd sort of say, oh, excuse me, do you have a table tonight? And you, in England, you might say, oh yes, certainly, sir. We have one at 8 o'clock. Less so now, but yeah, that used to be quite common. Mi esposa prefiere comer temprano. My wife would prefer to eat earlier. I mean, quite often you don't sit down till 10 o'clock in a Spanish restaurant. Queremos una mesa a las 7:30, which is really early. Por favor. Gracias, señora. Si llegamos a las 7, podemos tomar cócteles. If we arrive at 7, can we have cocktails? Can we drink some cocktails? It is a birthday. Buy her a cocktail on a birthday. And yeah, let's just break that down. Tiene usted una mesa para dos. Table for 2. Equally well. I mean, there's so many ways of asking this question in Spanish. Just as in English, I could have said, quisiera hacer una reservación para esta noche. I would like to make a reservation for tonight. Puedo hacer una reservación para esta noche. So, can I make a reservation for tonight? 2 phrases that we'd use in English. 3 phrases we use. Do you have a table? I would like a table. Can I make a reservation? We'd say any of those. Fine in Spanish. So you're used to the verb tener, querer, and poder, so you can conjugate that appropriately.
Do the Spanish also change the verb, the way they ask? You know, like if you're ringing a restaurant, we would say, "Can I make a reservation?" If you're ringing a pub, you say, "Can I book a table?" Do they have that sort of same subtlety?
I don't know is the honest answer. I think if they've got a table, they'll sort you out, however you ask for it. So there we go. And mañana por la noche, tomorrow night. And if you want to say for Friday, reservación el viernes, the Friday is fine. You don't need to worry about for 3 nights time. Just say the day. That's fine. You know your days of the week, don't you? Once you're in the cafe or the restaurant, the waiter may say, "Que va a tomar? Que van a tomar? Que vas a tomar?" So they all mean the same thing. What's the difference between those 3, Jane?
What are you going to take? What would you like? What are they going to take? And then what are you going to take? Sort of like inform.
Yeah. So van can be they, or it can be you plural, inform, ustedes form. So either one of those may be asked. If there's two or 3 of you, or there's 4 of you at the table, he may ask you what are you going to take as a party. I'd expect the waiter to ask formally, "Que va a tomar?" They may also say, "Que quiere usted?" "Que desea?" Or even, "Puedo tomar su orden?" Can I take your order? And he may even say, "Dígame," which is a common prompt in Spanish, and it means "tell me." In this case, tell me what you want. I've never been asked. I've never been asked what I'd like in that way. They probably realise you're English, and we English like to be a bit more charming and go round and have a little bit of a conversation about the weather before we decide what we're going to eat. If you just get a coffee, they might want to ask if you've like something else. Upsell. Algo más, anything else, is an option. So I think we might be running a bit short time. I've planned this lesson really badly. It's bang on 11. So I think we were talking too long about cricket and tennis at the beginning of the lesson. That was the trouble. So we'll probably leave it there. I'll let you get back to your daily tasks, and we'll pick this up next week from here. And does anybody have any questions before we finish off?
That was good.
Eric,
Yes.
Eric, can I ask if you can clarify for me, when you use the verb tomar, is it always in connection with food? So when you said earlier about podemos tomar cócteles, and I know that when you ask for a coffee, it's often you use the word tomar.
Yeah,
so is it always you take food, you always take drink, you don't have...
It does mean to take, so you could use it to take anything, but it's most commonly used in the context of drink, but also food is fine. So whenever anybody goes and orders a drink, they always use tomar, in my experience. I mean, it's fine to say I want a beer, but they generally say that they want to take a beer. Quiero tomar una cerveza, por favor. And when you're, I came across it in Ecuador when I didn't speak very much Spanish, and it was my son's wedding, and communal drinking is a bit of a thing at a party. It's a bit like the rugby club dinner in Britain, where they have a silver cup and they pour all kinds of disgusting stuff into it. I don't know if you've ever been to a rugby club dinner, maybe not. And it's passed around and you all have a drink out of the cup. And it's like that in Ecuador, and they come to you and they say toma, which is take, or drink. The verb gets used to mean drink as well as to take, and the idea is you take a drink, hand it back with the instruction toma, which means they have to take a drink as well. So the person who's handed the drink round soon gets relieved of the task because they're crawling after a short while. But yeah, Tom, expect to use the verb tomar in the context of definitely having a drink. Use it when you want to order a drink. Use tomar, and don't worry about conjugating it. I tend never to conjugate it. If I'm going to have a drink, want a drink, I would say something like voy a tomar un café, por favor. I'm going to take a coffee. I'd use it in that way, or quiero tomar, quisiera tomar. So I tend to use it in the infinitive, but yeah, always for taking drinks, and for ordering food, it's absolutely fine as well. So that's yeah. So that answers your question. Yeah, excellent, good. Thanks very much, everybody. Yeah. I'm going to stop the share now, and I'll see you all next week. We're going to chug along through May, but come the end of May, it's the summer half term, so we'll have a break at Whitsuntide or whatever it's called these days, and then we'll carry on until the middle of July, if you can stand it that long, and then the class will end. I'm still hoping that the way things are going, we'll be able to meet in class face-to-face come September later this year. I guess most of you have had one vaccine, at least one vaccine. Is that
Yep.
So quite a few of us have had two.
Second one tomorrow.
Second one next week.
Second one next week. Good. Yeah. Paul Meyer, Richard and Maya, who come to the class, Maya had hers on Friday, and she's been really ill with her second jab. So I don't have to worry any of you. I shouldn't be telling you this, really. Why did I sort this? So that's why she's not at the class today.
Don't tell my wife, she's having hers this afternoon.
Yeah, well, keep quiet about it. Yeah. How do people feel about being back in class? Are you?
Yeah, no problem.
Is anybody uncomfortable about it? I don't want people to feel that they're worried about coming into class. I mean, Spanish is hard enough without worrying about somebody coughing on the next table. I think by the time the September comes around, we'll probably have dispensed with social distancing rules completely as they stand at the moment. Although, some new ones may be in place, who knows? But I'll try to arrange the room slightly differently if I can, and we'll do a clean. If anybody wants to wear masks, I think we'll see masks around. Well, who knows, for the next forever. I mean, they're quite common in South Asia. We may have got used to the idea of wearing a mask. I don't think I'd fancy going on the train or around the supermarket without my mask nowadays. There's so many germ-ridden folk in Sainsbury's that probably feel
certainly think flying. It's a good thing for flying when you're on a plane. I always get next to someone who's got a cold or sneezing. Or it doesn't matter. Before all this happened.
Adios, Adrian.
Yeah, adios.
Ciao. Okay, well, I just thought I'd test the water and see how you feel, but that's encouraging. Well, thanks very much, everybody.
Adios.
Well done. Everybody did very well today, and I'll see you all next week.
Okay.
Right.
Adios.
Ciao.
Adios.
Ciao.
Everybody.
Ciao.